In this video, I want to show you the triple monitor setup that I've been using for my laptop called the Limink S19 Triview. The setup on this thing is super easy. It's way more useful than I was expecting. I think this thing has improved my experience and productivity on my laptop, almost to the point where I can't really imagine now how things were before I had this giant 3-monitor setup. Starting with looking at the specs on this thing, I chose the S19 model because it was the smallest and the lightest one that was compatible with my laptop, which for reference is a Dell Inspiron with a 15.6-inch monitor. You can see when I detach this that it's roughly the same size as a 15-inch laptop. It's about 14.5 inches long by about 9 inches wide and fits in a case that's roughly the same size as a 15-inch laptop case. The weight they list on the website is pretty accurate. On my scale, without the cords or anything, it's about 3.18 pounds or 1.44 kilograms. Probably my favorite thing about using this is just the ease of use, transportability. This thing flips out, clip it on, attach it to your laptop. When you want to take it, transport it, just fold it in, and it's really easy to transport. And to show you how this attaches, this metal part slides out to adjust to the size of your laptop. There's a little metal bracket here in the top that hooks over to the top of your laptop, and a little metal tab here that hooks over to the front of the monitor. So really, just slide this thing out larger, clip it on, and you're good to go. And these two wings here are adjustable. You can pretty much slide them back and forth to almost any position that you want them to be in. But because you have all the weight here attached to the laptop monitor, if you tilted this thing back too far, it would just keep on going and tilt back. So they have this little foot here. Basically, you just line this thing up, get the tilt to where you want it to be, pop out this little foot with a little rubber stopper, and it keeps this thing from tilting back and forth. So that's the physical connection of the monitor to your laptop. Again, super simple. It just takes about 10 seconds to get this thing hooked up. Now, as far as all the cables and connectors, you have a couple options depending on which ports you have on your laptop. They include all the cords for connecting USB-C or HDMI, so this is going to work with the included cords that come with this thing if you have any combination of these input types. So they have the connector ports on the outside edge of these monitors. There's an HDMI and 2 C hookups. So the cords are a little bit longer because they need to extend all the way from the end of one over to whatever size on your laptop you have the ports. So your USB-C to USB-C connector is going to be the easiest option because USB transfers data and power. You just need to plug one end to your computer, the other end of the monitor, and then it should be ready to go. And again, the cord that they include with this is really long, so it's going to be plenty long enough if you have to attach on the outside of this monitor, run it behind your computer, and it's long enough if your port is on the opposite side. So again, USB-C is the way to go here. One cable, hook it up, super easy. Unfortunately, my laptop only has one USB-C port. This thing is about 5 years old, so you're going to have to use 2 cables for the other connection here. So again, HDMI, USB-A over there, this side, USB-C, the opposite end, HDMI, 2 cords. Now we're powered up on both monitors. Again, not quite as elegant as just the 2-cable solution here, but you can always just tuck these cables in behind your computer so they're not in the way. That's everything in terms of setup and connectors. These things are powered off your laptop, so there's no more plug. You don't need to plug these into the wall or anything, just the cables going in for the data and power into your laptop. You do probably need to keep your laptop plugged into the wall though, because these things do draw a fair amount of power. As far as screen quality and brightness, I found them to be very similar to what I have on my laptop. They're 1920 by 1080 resolution, which is the same as I have on the main monitor on my laptop. The brightness on these is measured in candelas, which apparently is the same thing as nits. If you try to look it up, these things come in at 250 candelas per square meter. My laptop monitor maxes out at 300. I usually don't have it on the full brightness, so these things aren't quite as bright as my laptop, but they're pretty close. And then over here on the side of each monitor, they have these little buttons so you can adjust the contrast, the color. I had to mess with these a little bit to get them close. Looks like I'm still a little bit off, but they're close enough that I don't really notice a difference. And kind of funny, if you can see it right here, my mouse pointer, I kept on losing it because I have these giant monitors now, so I could never find the mouse. So I ended up having to make my pointer quite a bit bigger and a different color. So now it's much easier to find. As far as models and designs go, Limink has quite a few options. Again, I decided to go with the S19 model here because this was the smallest and the lightest option that was compatible with my laptop. The screen size on these is slightly smaller than my laptop. These are 14 inches measured on the diagonal, and my main laptop screen is 15.6. They have another model called the S9. It's similar to this, but it's larger with a full 15.6-inch screen. However, it's quite a bit heavier and it costs a lot more. However, I've been really happy with this setup. These 14-inch work great for what I use them for. I don't think I would have gained anything by going up in the larger size. There's a few other options as far as screen size and brightness, different sizes. If you're not sure, you can always contact the company. They're really responsive. I emailed them about this one, gave them my laptop model number, make sure that this thing was going to be compatible with my laptop. As far as my experience with this setup, I've had it about 5 weeks. I use it constantly. I think it's great. I love this 3-monitor setup. And now, after getting used to it, I'm not sure I can go back to just using the single monitor. I do a lot of video editing on this channel, so having 3 screens, multiple things going on at the same time is really nice. There's a little bit of an initial setup time, gets this thing hooked up, all the cables and your screen settings going. But once you get it all dialed in, it's just super easy to hook up, transport, really easy to use. As far as packability goes, it's really easy. You just pop all the cables off here, take this thing off, flip your monitors around, and you're good to go. Comes with an included carrying case here. Again, this thing is not quite as big, but roughly the same size as a 15.5-inch laptop, but a little bit lighter. As far as using this thing in a travel backpack, roughly the same size as a laptop, so you can pretty much use it in any kind of just mid-size 15.5-inch laptop sleeve. This is the Patagonia Mini MLC here with a second sleeve for a tablet, which also fit in there. I generally don't travel with my laptop for the most part, so this entire setup here is probably a lot more than I would take on most long-term international trips or really short weekend trips. However, this is a perfect setup for my home base, and I can see this being immensely useful for digital nomad or anyone that uses their laptop as their primary livelihood. And the only thing that really concerns me about the packability here is that the way it folds, one of the monitors is going to be facing out. So if you do pack this thing away, make sure to be extra careful about protecting this screen. As far as the cost goes on this thing, again, I chose the S19, not only because it's a smaller and a lighter weight option, but it's also one of their least expensive options for the 15-inch monitor. The Triview S19 is listed on the Limink website for $299. They give me a coupon code for $20 off. So if you buy this on their website, you can get it for $279 right now and free shipping in the United States, which they list at 3 to 7 days. They also list this monitor on Amazon. It was $327.99 last time I looked. A little bit more expensive, but you might have some more options for faster shipping if you have Prime. So that's all I have for the Limink S19 Triview. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about this. And again, thanks for watching.